So I'm Eija Korpelainen from CSC, as most of you probably have figured out already. I'm the one who pesters you with emails all the time. So first a couple of things. So some of you are maybe here for the first time. So we are at CSC. CSC stands for Center of Scientific Computing. And we are actually the National Supercomputing Center in this country. So we are owned by the Ministry of Education. We are a government institute. And we provide services for all the universities in Finland. So all sorts of services. So obviously we have big computers by definition, being a supercomputing center. But we also run a lot of training courses and things like that. And provide user support. And then so about this workshop. So this workshop is organized by ELIXIR Accelerate project. So in case somebody is not familiar with ELIXIR, this is a European research infrastructure for life sciences. So this is like a permanent thing, and then it gets funding from various sources, and one of them is the EU FP7 project, Accelerate, which has several work packages for interoperability, computing, data, and so on, but also for training. And in this training section, we have different kinds of training. So training for developers, training for researchers, obviously, and then also for training for trainers. And this workshop is part of that training for bioinformatics trainers activity, which is actually led by ELIXIR-FI, who is the Italian lady sitting at the back there. Then I would also like to say that this workshop is kindly sponsored by NEC, which is Nordic E-Infrastructure Collaboration. Now then, before we jump into the topic, I just wanted to give a little bit of background, because I think we have kind of two kinds of people here. So we have, or even three kinds. So we have bioinformatics trainers, we have people who host bioinformatics training events, and then we have a lot of technical specialists who are very knowledgeable in clouds and VMs and these things. So especially for those people, I wanted to give a little bit of background why we are here. So there are obviously very different kinds of bioinformatics training courses. It depends very much on what kind of topics you teach. You might teach R or Python or so forth. Nowadays, many of us teach stuff what is called NGS analysis. NGS is a sequencing technology which produces a lot of data, and people need to learn to analyze it. So what I have here very much applies to that kind of scenario. So typically these training courses are short, just a couple of days. Researchers are busy, so they don't want to take more time to come to a training course. So you have to cram all the information to their heads in this couple of days. Now, they are also life scientists, which has some implications. So typically they are not very computer savvy, meaning that they might not be used to installing applications on their computers. They might not even have rights to install stuff on their laptops. Now, these training courses are organized in different places, so you don't always have a computer classroom like this. It might be just an auditorium or ordinary room where people come with their laptops. And then again, now depending very much on what kind of topic you are teaching, but for example for myself, so I teach a lot of stuff called RNA-seq data analysis, and there one needs lots of different analysis programs. So if I run a one-day course, I need like 10 different programs and their dependencies, and all that needs to be installed somewhere. And typically those programs are made to run on Linux, whereas the laptops of those people are typically Windows laptops or Macs. In addition to these analysis programs, one also needs the actual data to be analyzed, and also reference data, and both of these can be quite big. Again, depending on the stuff you are doing, but for example, if you use a line program called star, your reference index might be like 30 gigs. And the data also can be tens of gigs. And then to make everything worse, these programs are actually developed very actively. So you need to update your stuff all the time. And also the reference genomes get updated all the time. So your installation, whatever you installed, needs to be updated regularly. Some of these programs actually need a fair bit of memory and CPU, not all of them, but some. And then in a core scenario, you have those 20 to 30 people, and they all want to start the analysis job exactly at the same time. So even if you had a server which works perfectly fine in a normal setting when people just analyze their own data, when you come to the course, all those jobs need to be able to run at the same time. So you need a system which is elastic, which scales well to this situation. And well then ideally, when you have been running the course and people start to analyze then their own data, they would like to have a similar environment. Doesn't need to be the same cloud or whatever, but software environment which looks similar to them. And then, so when you have done this in one place, then you have to run the same thing in a different location, in a different city in your country or abroad in perhaps very different conditions. So like personally, I have been also running some courses in Africa, and that the infrastructure is very, very different. So this is the background. These are the problems we have. So in this workshop, I would like to hear how and if cloud and virtual machine images and Docker can help us to solve some of these issues. So what I would like to happen here is to so that we trainers would really understand when it makes sense to use cloud and VM and Docker and whatever, and when it's not necessary. Then when we want to use it, how do we actually in practice do it? What do we need to know in order to take advantage of this technology? So I wanted to make this workshop quite practical. Often these EU workshops are a lot of talking, which is good in many cases, but I thought that here it's nicer if we actually try to do things, because then the concrete problems really come out and the questions. And then, so I have invited lots of different speakers here, because there are these activities going on in different countries. So I would like to hear what is happening in the different countries and you know, the good things and bad things, so we can learn from each other. And finally, Allegra and I, we would like to produce some sort of guideline document after this workshop, so that we can then use it when we run other trainer-trainer events, so that we can spread this knowledge gained here. And then finally, I'm not advertising ISMB here, but I just wanted to make a point that, so for those who don't know, so ISMB is the biggest bioinformatics conference globally, which happens yearly. And this year it's in Florida. And there, sure enough, one big topic is how to use cloud and virtual resources for training. So this thingy is coming up in different